Is Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnamurthy, who's a member of the House Intel and Oversight Committees. Congressman, welcome. First question to you, given your position on the Intel Committee, are you getting briefings, be they classified or otherwise, right now about the situation?
We're getting some information, but we're not going to get classified briefings until we return to Washington early next week. And you can imagine there are a lot of questions that we have to ask of our own intelligence community about this.
And those questions would be what? What is it that I guess I'm going to ask this question. You heard Ralph Sanchez say that it was a lack of imagination on behalf of the Israeli intelligence or defense forces to conceive of what has happened to them today. You know, somewhat rudimentary, right, by association when you think about the military capabilities of Israel. To what extent is the U.S. also not at fault, but unaware of this? Is this something you would expect our intelligence to have known about? And if it didn't, what happened?
I don't know, Alex, and that's kind of part of the set of questions that we'll have to ask. We'll also want to know, who was backing the Hamas affiliates in this particular case. Did Iran have anything to do with this? Is that something, sir, that you were hearing about Iran? We have Julie Sirkin on Capitol Hill reported there was one Republican lawmaker who is saying, I believe from the Senate, who is saying that he believes Iran was involved. Is there anything to indicate that is a fact? I'm not aware of specific evidence there, but that's among the questions that we'll have to ask. We're also going to be asking, or I'll be asking, what's going on with Hezbollah on the north, because we would fear that Hezbollah would take advantage of the situation and attack from Lebanon as well. And then, of course, what are the real motives here, too? And how do we get those hostages back from from Gaza Strip? Dozens and dozens of civilians and soldiers have been taken. Some people say that what was really going on here was an effort to destroy any chance of peace, because there's peace talks happening right now, or discussions between Israel, the United States, Saudi Arabia, and others, as well as Palestinians with regard to future arrangements. And, of course, Hamas and terrorists don't want anything like that to happen. And so that's part of the issue as well. What happens to those talks between Israel and Saudi Arabia now? Is there a chance they can continue? Will they go on pause? Will they potentially completely fall apart? I hope the last thing that you said doesn't happen. I think right now, obviously, Israel is going to be 100% focused on responding to what has occurred today. But of course, over the medium and long term, I hope that we can go back to this broader discussion, because obviously, if that doesn't happen, I think the terrorists win, and we can't let that happen, even at the same time that we stand with Israel shoulder to shoulder in its right to defend itself right now.
Congressman, does the fact that the United States currently does not have a sitting ambassador to Israel, does that cause concerns at all about how the U.S. deals with this? It does.
On the other hand, I think that there's going to be direct, high-level talks and an ongoing dialogue between our intelligence community, their counterparts in Israel, and of course between President Biden and the Prime Minister and his government. But long-term, we need to have a presence there. We need to have an ambassador in Israel. We can't have that person held up by extraneous matters in the Senate, because as you can tell, that person is extremely important in helping us with various efforts in Israel and, of course, dealing with terrorists and trying to engineer peace long term.
How do you, I will say at this very preliminary stage, sir, how do you envision the U.S. role to play out right now?
I think in the immediate term, we'll be providing intelligence. We'll be gathering intelligence, collecting intelligence, trying to do everything we can to help the Israelis do at least two things. One, recover those hostages. That's probably priority number one for the Israeli government right now. And then two, helping to prevent any further attacks and helping to clear Israel of the terrorists. that's probably uppermost in the minds of the Israeli government, and we would probably help them to whatever extent possible in those endeavors.
One last question. Would you expect the United States to be involved in any physical way with helping that recovery, be it providing support, militarily, equipment, or even further?
I don't think that we would actually have a direct role in the combat. The Israelis are extremely capable on their own. However, they may request certain types of intelligence, certain types of equipment, and I suspect that the Biden administration would do everything in its power to provide whatever they need at this time.
All right, Illinois Congressman Raja Krishnamoorthi, our friend, thank you so much for joining me, sir, on this very important news day. Coming up next.